Hot Nights at the Krusty Krab by Cheese 18. Summary: Missing rated M scene in the new story Blackmail because it's rated T, and this is definitely not rated T. This is not like the actual story, just tweaked a bit to make it a lemon. SpongeBob and Squidward have sex in the Krusty Krab late one night while Mr. Krabs is attempting the 24-hour thing again. Chapter 1. Lemon. SpongeBob and Squidward were bored. They were forced to work there again for 24 hours. SpongeBob was mopping the green wooden floors while Squidward was reading a purple book, with a secret magazine hidden behind the book. Squidward was horny, with his squid penis hard. He was rubbing himself, but he was not staring at the pages. He was staring at SpongeBob. For about 2 months now, he and SpongeBob have been in a relationship. They've kissed and dry-humped, but not sex. Not yet. Squidward wanted to, so bad, he felt like he was pressuring SpongeBob to do it, but he had no problem. SpongeBob turned around and showed his square butt. Squidward felt a throb. He was about to come. Panting, he lifted himself up and watched SpongeBob. He said, "Hey, SpongeBob?" SpongeBob turned, smiling. "Yes?" I wanted to do something with you. Is that okay?" Squidward asked. SpongeBob's face went all confused. "Like what?" "That sex thing we have been talking about." "Sex? Oh, yeah." "So? So what?" "Did you want to try it?" "What? Here?" "Sure. I don't know." SpongeBob looked at the floor. Squidward walked over to the sponge and draped an arm over his shoulder. He smiled. "Why don't we try it?" he suggested, slipping a tentacle down south under SpongeBob's pants and grabbing his limp dick. He rubbed it to life. SpongeBob moaned. Squidward continued to rub and grab at SpongeBob's balls and get him hot. It did make him hot, and SpongeBob saw Squidward's erection for the first time for that night. He kneeled down and took the light blue cock in his mouth. SpongeBob sucked and licked and rubbed while he worked at his own hard-on. SpongeBob was more hot, though, as he felt his dick heat up with his seed. He moaned and went faster. He then took it deeper in his mouth and deep-throated. SpongeBob conjured up more saliva and sucked faster. Squidward moaned and held the back of SpongeBob's head. His own ejaculate rose back up into the main tube. He was gonna come. Squidward held for his life. It was gonna be a big one, even bigger than when he and SpongeBob dry-humped and rubbed each other's dicks. Squidward scrunched up his face and gritted his teeth. His face was becoming beet red. "Oh, here it comes," he moaned. SpongeBob went slower and still suckled. He moaned himself, apparently at his own limit. He went at a slow pace and then pulled the dick out. He took it with one yellow hand and rubbed, nice and slow. This made Squidward groan and made his body heat up another 5 or 10 degrees. He rolled his eyes back as the final stroke set him off. Hot squid spunk shot up into the air and landed on the yellow recipient's face, on his tongue, in his holes, on his hands, and even on that nose of his. SpongeBob was set off, and he ejaculated all over Squidward's legs and on the once clean floor. He gasped for breath while panting Squidward's name excitedly. When it was over, Squidward scooped SpongeBob up and laid him on the table, belly side on the table. He took SpongeBob's pants fully off, and they hung around SpongeBob's ankles. Squidward panted as he got himself hard again, which took a couple of minutes because of the refractory period, and positioned himself at SpongeBob's spongy asshole. "Ready?" Squidward asked. Yeah," SpongeBob agreed. Squidward slipped inside of SpongeBob, causing a yelp as his asshole was stretched. SpongeBob whined a little, and Squidward stopped. He asked, "Am I hurting you?" SpongeBob gasped for breath and nodded slightly. "Kind of take it slow, okay?" SpongeBob asked. "Of course," Squidward said. Squidward laid tiny kisses on the sponge's back as he slipped further inside. It still hurt, but the pain was soon taken over by pleasure. Squidward began a steady rhythm, inside and out, inside and out. SpongeBob moaned with pleasure and raked the table with his fingernails. He shut his eyes and arched his back. SpongeBob being thrust in and out like that moving made his own dick hard again. SpongeBob panted out at one point, "Squidward, rub me please." Squidward reached around and rubbed SpongeBob while keeping his own rhythm still. Squidward was increasing his thrusts and his pants. He was getting close again. SpongeBob felt his dick throb at the pleasure as the pleasure became unbearable once again. SpongeBob let out a moan and arched his own non-existent spine. He opened his eyes and then rolled back at the lights above them. "This is so wrong, but it feels so good," SpongeBob thought. Squidward bucked and thrust faster. While he felt his build-up begin to rise, he wanted to come, right inside the sponge. He smiled at the thought and held onto SpongeBob with one tentacle, and two others rubbing his dick. SpongeBob's dick throbbed again and shot his load all over the table. SpongeBob moaned, "Squidward!" while that set Squidward off and he cummed inside SpongeBob's asshole, filling it with seething hot squid seed. He groaned out of SpongeBob while he came, and then pulled out. Seed dribbled down SpongeBob's leg and made a mess in his shorts. SpongeBob slipped to his knees, panting and moaning. He still held on to the table. Wow, SpongeBob thought. Squidward cleaned himself up and helped SpongeBob clean up. They went back to work with SpongeBob cleaning up Seed and Squidward in his thoughts thinking, "I lost my virginity to that once annoying as hell neighbor of mine. Now my life is perfect."